video is sponsored by supply handlers. A good number of players came into this World Cup with millions of people doubting, and well, some of them have been able to prove them wrong. Who are some of those guys? You'll find out in this video today. These are 7 players who have shut the haters up at this World Cup. We'll start with Unai Simón. Coming into this tournament, everyone said he was the worst of all the Spanish goalkeepers and should be on the bench for either David Raya or Joan Garcia. These were 2 goalkeepers who had just been named the best in their respective leagues on their way to winning the title, so there were millions who were predicting the downfall of Spain if De La Fuente insisted on using Simón in between the sticks. Well, 5 games into the tournament, and Simón has still not put a foot wrong. He has not just been good, he has actually been the best goalkeeper at the tournament. He is the only goalkeeper yet to concede a goal all tournament, and also the only one who boasts a 100% save percentage. It is just impossible to argue with that. He is really showing everyone why he remains Spain's #1 on the biggest stage despite the other superstar goalkeepers gunning for his spot, and every single person who doubted him has had to hold their hands up and say that they were wrong about him. Folks who doubted Vinny have also had to hold their hands up. Coming into this World Cup, he was always mocked for being terrible in a Brazil shirt. His form for Real Madrid, never in doubt, but when it came to Brazil, he always looked like a completely different player. He always got trolled for how he consistently failed to turn up, but at this World Cup, he seemed to take all those comments personally and use it as motivation. Before this year, Vinny only had 6 goals for Brazil in competitive matches, but he turned up at this World Cup and scored 4 goals in the first 3 games, becoming only the 5th Brazilian ever to score in each of the first 3 games of a World Cup tournament. He also joined Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi as the only players to be named man of the match in every group stage game at a single edition of the World Cup. It might have been a pretty disappointing outing for Brazil in general, but Vinny really proved that he can actually turn up for Brazil, contrary to what the haters always used to say. And he's not even the only Brazilian who shut the haters up before bowing out of the World Cup. Do you know who the other guy is? Take a guess, we'll see if you're right soon. While you're there, if you aren't yet subscribed to the channel, go do that right away so you never miss out on our amazing content.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.
Done? Okay, back to the video. In recent years, Kylian Mbappe has become a man with many haters. He joined Real Madrid a couple years back, and they have since failed to win the league or the Champions League. Meanwhile, PSG have completed a treble and have gone back-to-back in the Champions League in his absence. This has led to a lot of people calling for his head and labeling him a man who destroys teams. In fact, just this summer, we saw a petition for him to be kicked out of Real Madrid get a record number of signatures. His detractors called him lazy, self-centered, and some even called him a dictator. But he has returned to the world stage in typical imperious form. He is scoring goals for fun and has forced himself back into the Ballon d'Or conversation again. If you remember, before the tournament kicked off, there were some people who even suggested that Mbappe be relegated to the bench at this World Cup. They said that France would look better if Deschamps handed the keys to Dembélé and built the team around the Ballon d'Or winner. But Mbappe has since shut all the haters up, proving that he is still arguably the greatest player of his generation. And from one Real Madrid man to another, let's talk about Jude Bellingham. For some reason, the man always has millions of haters, even among his own people. There were English folks and even media outlets saying that Thomas Tuchel should leave Bellingham at home for this tournament. They said that the midfielder doesn't bring balance to the squad, and some others talked about how his ego could be an obstacle to squad harmony. But the man has now gone on to become one of the nation's outright best players at the tournament. He is the team's second highest goalscorer behind only Harry Kane. But he not only scores, he also digs in, helps out the defense, carries the ball, and creates chances for his teammates. Watching Jude Bellingham go, it now feels very silly that anyone ever suggested that he should not be included in the World Cup squad. I mean, what would the team even have looked like without him? He has been named player of the match in 3 of England's games so far, which is more than enough to shut every single hater up. Another Englishman who has shut the haters up is Djed Spence. he is one of the players whose inclusion in the Three Lions squad was quite contentious, especially because bigger names were left out for him. He was coming from a season where he struggled at Spurs and even very nearly got relegated, therefore many people said he did not deserve a call-up, especially not ahead of the likes of Luke Shaw and Lewis Hall. Because of that, many people were waiting for him to fail so they can be proven right, but he has been rather solid so far and has really shut everyone up. He has put in a really good shift at both left back and right back, and in fact, for many England fans, that one tackle against Mexico was enough to justify his selection. Now, remember we said that Vinny is not the only Brazilian in this video? That guy is Gabriel Martinelli. Coming into this tournament, many people called him a nothing player, and there were arguments that guys like João Pedro and even Richarlison should have gotten in ahead of him, and in the beginning it seemed like they were right. He hardly did anything in the group stage, but Ancelotti threw him in the round of 32 game against Japan, and he changed everything. In real time, fans laughed at and mocked Ancelotti for subbing on Martinelli when he needed a goal, but the Arsenal man ended up putting in a really good shift, playing just behind the striker, and he ended up bagging the winning goal in additional time. That earned him a start in the round of 16 match against Norway, where he once again put in a good shift. He created 2 chances and played the pass that led to the first penalty for Brazil. In fact, some fans will tell you that subbing him off was one of the reasons Brazil lost that game. The Seleção might have been really disappointing at this World Cup, but one thing is certain, Martinelli shut his haters up in the USA this summer. Finally, Pau Cubarsi has surely shut the haters up at this World Cup. In the last couple of seasons, the teenager has slowly become one of the most hated defenders in the world. Even Barcelona fans appear to have turned on him. They called him average, said he always had an error in him, and even some were asking for him to be replaced. Heck, when Cubarsi was named in the Spain World Cup squad, there were some fans who said he didn't deserve to be there ahead of guys like Dean Huijsen. Some others even said that Atleti's Marc Pubel should start over him. But after 5 games, Cubarsi has simply been one of the best defenders at the tournament. He has been untouchable at the heart of Spain's defense and is one of the reasons the whole team ticks. He has been strong in the duels, and his ball carrying and neat passing have been very important in helping the team progress the ball up the pitch. You could say that Cubarsi has been flawless, and if anything, his performances so far have probably exposed that the problem at club level was never him, but perhaps the Hansi Flick system that requires the defenders to sprint several times and cover way too much space during a game. Anyway, it is now time to hear from you guys. What other players have completely shut the haters up at this World Cup? Drop their names in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also turn on the bell notification so you never miss out on new content. Catch you in the next one. Bye.
Hey fam, this is your chance to build the jersey collection you've been waiting for. The Goal 90 bundle deal is live. Buy 2 jerseys and get 10% off. Buy 3 and get 15% off. Buy 4 and get a massive 25% off. Club kits, country kits, retro classics, pick your favourites and save big. And yes, every order comes with free worldwide shipping. Goal 90 bundle deal. Buy more, save more. Shop now at Goal 90 Shop.